Are you tired of getting killed all the time? Are you tired of missing all your shots? Are you tired of not being able to see your opponent but they can see you? Well, introducing update 0.64, yes, giving you the power to win your games, get your kills, and see them before they see you. What's up guys, welcome back. In this tutorial, it's all about changing your settings to make your gameplay smoother, better, and more accurate. So first, we're going to start with sensitivity. So sensitivity is pretty much how far you turn or move up and down depending on how far you move your mouse. So if I crank this up to 40, say I move my mouse an inch, you can see it's a lot more. Now if I lower it down to say 0.01, I can move my mouse around a lot, and you can see it barely moves. So the default is 7.5. For me, it's pretty good. It's pretty smooth. It's not too bad, not too fast. If you prefer it to be lower, you can lower it. I wouldn't really use the dial since it's a very, very precise dial, so you can just drag it around. If you have a bigger screen, it might make sense to have the accuracy or the sensitivity a bit higher since your screen is a little bit bigger, so you have more space to move around. You can change that depending on how you like it, and that can really help your aim, since if your sensitivity was really too high, then you might be just flying past your opponent. If it's too low, you might have been just missing him all completely. So next up, we have the FOV. I'm gonna skip the sensitivity multiplier and scope multiplier because all that really means is just when you scope in, it takes your original sensitivity, multiplies by a number, and changes it. So if I change this down to 1, you can see that it's the same sensitivity, or 7.5. If I change it down to 0.0001, it means I can't move at all. It's pretty much just 0.001 times 7.5, which would almost be 0.001, which would be like sensitivity down to 0.01. So general field of view is how far you can see. So normally you can see 60 degrees. So that's from left to right is 60 degrees. Now obviously you can see, I can see the far left dirt block, the next one, and then the far right dirt block. But I've placed down 5 dirt blocks. So if we change the setting, let's say we increase it a little bit, you can notice that bam, already another dirt block right there has appeared. So all this means is that you can see farther. This is very useful. As you can see, I can really see really far, but it also does affect your sensitivity very slightly, but it shouldn't be too bad. As you can see, I can see it even from now. It also puts things a lot farther away just because how far you can see, but that's also okay depending on how big your screen is. If you crank this down to as low as it goes, you can see everything's a lot more zoomed in. This is pretty good for, like, I guess if it's harder for you to aim, this might be good for you, but you will really struggle when people start moving around. The default setting is pretty good. I personally prefer to increase it by 5, so 65. It's still a pretty good field of vision, but also doesn't zoom out so far where things are just abnormal. Obviously, based on your screen size, this will all still change. So if you have like a phone size screen, you probably don't want this because it will be extremely hard to see things. So you might want to lower it depending on your screen size. So first person model, don't worry about this. All this does is just see if you increase it, it just moves your hands farther out. It's pretty much like how much of your hands can you see. I wouldn't worry about that since we'll have some more settings that will make it so that you don't need it at all. Next up, if you're getting a lot of lag in game, you might want to decrease your render scale and your field of view, because supposedly the less pixels that are needed to render, meaning the less you see, the more, well, less lag there will be. You can also drop this down. See, as you can see, there's a lot less pixels now, and that will also make it easier and have less lag. Alright boys, now you're probably wondering, how do I increase my better aim? We've already increased sensitivity, we've changed all that, our FOV and everything. So now let's get to the part, aiming. Obviously, by default, you can see we have a T-shaped crosshair with nothing in the middle. And if we aimed on the sights, the crosshair disappears and we use the iron sights on our gun. Now, you can customize the width. As you can see, this is the width. Now it creates like a weird, kind of cool animation like that. You can increase the length, so now it's this big animation. This is not too great because you can't see much. Also, if you drop it down to 0, it's pretty much just normal. You're just like having a gun. It'd be like in real life with their actual gun. I leave the width and the length the same, but I changed this style. So there's 4 styles. There's the cross. There's the cross with dot, which is pretty much just a cross and a dot. I prefer this because it puts down a pinpoint and I know exactly where I'm shooting at. Next, we have just the dot, so it's pretty much the crosshair without any of the plus sign. It's just a dot. This is pretty good if you like know where your mouse is and everything, but I don't really like using it because sometimes I forget where my mouse is. And finally, we have no crosshair, which is pretty much just dropping your width and length down to 0. This is, you know, like I said, pretty much like if you want like a very realistic gameplay, you can just remove the crosshair. Alright, now besides increasing the style of your crosshair, choosing that, you can also change the color. This is like customizability, it's really up to you. I won't go into that because I personally don't use it. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. All I'll say is cross the dot is really the best one since it gives you a really great sense of where your crosshair is and where your opponent is. Now, this right here, show crosshair when ADS, it really depends on your playstyle. So there's 2 options here. You can choose to have ADS and then have the crosshair. You can see now the crosshair stays. Or you can choose to hide model in ADS. This keeps the crosshair, so pretty much like this won't matter if you have this checked. But all it does is when you aim, bam, the hand to the gun is gone. This is extremely powerful because you can see I can still shoot, you can see, but you can't see the gun. What's really great about this is you can see your opponent and you can see their entire body. If you remove hide model in ADS, like if you don't check it, you can still see their arms and the gun blocks like half of their body. This is really bad. And even when I aim and shoot, you can see even the crosshair blocks part of the body. So really, if you check this into hide model, it's pretty much aimbot. This will help you improve a lot since you can see so much more when you aim in. And this is just a great setting for your aim and knowing where your opponents are. So here's a little bonus, I guess you can say, for snipers, those who really like maining sniper. If I were you, I would drop the background scope down. I don't have an example to show you, but pretty much what it does is instead of having the black background where it blocks everything, it removes the background and you can see everything and see your crosshair, so you can also tell when opponents are sneaking up to you. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave a subscribe. It's always optional as usual, but yeah, this is a tutorial. If you enjoyed the tutorial on helping making your gameplay better, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want me to do another one similar to this, maybe like a how to increase your gaming skill, you can also let me know in the comments below. So yeah, thanks for watching, and as always, subscribe.